Thank you guys so much for being here. Happy Monday. We're up here at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport. Windy, rainy afternoon. We got some showers and thunderstorms moving into the Detroit area. Maybe we'll see something come in. You never know. I've been up here talking to myself for the last 45 minutes. Good news is we can put that back in, but I apologize for that. I didn't realize that the Bluetooth wasn't connecting. We have contact. There we go. So we should be good to go. It was really windy there for a bit. We had about 45-mile-an-hour gusts when that thunderstorm came through. JP Ashley and Company owns this Challenger inbound from, I don't know. Hope you guys are all enjoying your Monday. We had a busy weekend, so we're gonna have an auction at our my wife's grandparents' house here in the summer. They had a farm, and he passed away last year, and so her family has been working to put together an auction, just kind of sell some of that stuff off, the farm equipment and whatnot. So they were all over for the weekend. I changed oil on the truck. Finally was able to mow. It finally dried up a little bit. We've had rain just about every day. I figured tonight we'll get out. I was going to go to Columbus today. There's a Spirit A321neo down there. Trying to find out when that might leave. Because it came in Friday night at about 10:30. I was really tempted to go down and catch it landing, because when the news started breaking, and that might be it. Really thought about going down there. The banana livery went to Detroit on Friday night. Everything was delayed, of course, but I thought about going up there to either going to Detroit to catch the banana livery or down to Columbus to catch what I unfortunately kind of figured would be their last flight to Columbus. But they got there so late. So we'll keep an eye on Columbus to see, or Detroit to see when those aircraft might leave, and try to see if we can go catch it for you.
713 Juliet Mike, ground.
But definitely sad to hear about Spirit shutting down. I flew them a few times, always had great experiences. Definitely got what you paid for, but you know, round trip flight to Orlando and Fort Lauderdale for under $100. Can't beat it. But thinking about all the people that lost their jobs. JetBlue actually announced they're going to start service to Columbus later this year. I think it's 3 times daily to Fort Lauderdale, if I remember right. So jumping on that hole left by Spirit. I also added Fort Lauderdale here as well. But so we'll keep an eye on that to go catch that. I saw the World Cup livery. As soon as I pulled in, the World Cup livery popped up that's going into Columbus. I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Almost went down there tonight, but we'll keep an eye on it and probably get down there over the next couple of days. I also heard that the Egyptian government 747 that's at Dayton is down there getting some maintenance. Should be down there for at least a couple more weeks, so maybe we'll catch that when it leaves as well. Couple of special liveries here tonight. We got Florida 1. We also should have the Star Alliance livery for United here in a little bit. So we'll take a look at that. Showing right now 6:56 on that arrival. We don't have our heavies tonight. We should be back here tomorrow. American Eagle 4390 out of LaGuardia, about 10 minutes out. A Delta Connection 4061 out of Detroit. Yeah, pretty decent sized cell moving up towards Detroit. I don't know if it's definitely going to hit the airport. I don't know if it's going to cause anything, but there's actually some weather in the Chicago area as well. So maybe tonight, maybe we'll get lucky. We'll get a diversion or two up here tonight. Wouldn't that be something? Here, the thunderstorms have moved through, the showers have moved through, and it's gotten really pretty. Simply Aiden's asking, did you see what St. Louis got for static today? I saw the Corsair in flagship Detroit, the DC-3. Was there something else that they got? Their static lineup looks insane. That is going to be a show that if you can get there for arrival day or departure day, it's going to be incredible. I'm planning on going to the show. I don't think I'll be able to do that though. I'm joining a community band and we have a concert on Sunday night of that week. So I was gonna probably go in Friday night, stay for the show, and then come back Sunday morning so I can get to the concert. We'll have to wait and see how things go. That show is gonna have a really crazy static lineup. Got some good flying acts too. If they get a B2 fly over, that'll be the icing on the cake for me. I saw the F1 race got one yesterday. Here's the Ashley Company's Challenger. Not sure if it's heading to customs or where it's heading. I'm assuming it's heading to customs. I can't believe we had the audio off that long. I'm so sorry. Usually the Bluetooth mic just connects right away. It must not have. I had everything charging the last couple of days and it must just not have connected when I got up here. Florida 1 has pushed back for its flight to BWI. Also a business jet taking the runway. We'll go ahead and get Florida 1 for you. One of the last 737-700 still wearing the special livery for Southwest, as they've largely converted to 800s and a couple of MAX 8 special liveries. The new Independence one was in Pittsburgh this morning. Hopefully we'll catch that here. We're in Columbus at some point soon. Not as excited about the Liberty one. Of course I want to catch it, but same livery as Freedom one, just on a MAX. But hopefully we'll catch it at some point. But that Independence one is beautiful. Really need to catch that one at least before the 4th of July. Florida 1 waiting for their clearance. I believe they're heading to Wash BWI, if I remember right. Yep, flight 1202 to BWI. FlexJet Challenger inbound. Give me a second here. Hey, photographer, that FlexJet, perfect lighting as that comes in. We're gonna stick with Florida 1 as it taxis, but man, that was pretty. everyone told to line up and wait, heading to Baltimore, Washington International. Gotta wonder how much longer we'll see this one on this aircraft. There's only a couple of these left. I think it's this one, Arizona one, maybe Missouri one, and Maryland one. I believe are the only 700s that still have special liveries. Everything else has moved up to the 800 or the max. Southwest on their way out. We got a United Express E-175 lining up for departure. Should have something inbound as well. United Express heading out, American Eagle inbound. So looking off in the distance right now, first time I've seen it up here since we had the groundbreaking for the new stadium on, I think it was Thursday. There's a crane over there now. I saw they were moving a lot of dirt when I drove by. So construction has started on the new Brown Stadium, expected to open in 2029. United Express flight 5697 inbound from Chicago, followed by Delta Connection 4064 and Air Canada Jazz. Flight 647 tonight inbound from Montreal, the new flight that kicked off over the weekend. Another E-Jet, flight 3527 inbound from Dulles. They had 5133 for American Eagle inbound from Philly. Apparently we're going to get lots of regional aircraft over the next few minutes. Severe thunderstorm warning south of O'Hare. So have to see what happens with the new stadium. Roger Goodell basically told everyone that you're not getting a Super Bowl though, unless the area really develops. He's talking about how there's not enough hotel rooms and all that in the area to have a Super Bowl. So he's like, if everything has to really develop for you to get that, we'll get a draft. But pretty much made it sound like the Super Bowl is not going to happen. Which we'll have to wait and see. Oh wow, an E6 will be on static for St. Louis. That's going to be a must-see. Yeah, Independence 1 was there. I think it landed around 9 and departed around 10 this afternoon, or this morning. Presto said, I saw you out there. I was driving home from work. Definitely that time of day is the United Express. I work remote today. We started a new project at work. So working with an entirely different team, some entirely different things I had to do. So at least got that going for me today. I was able to work from home. Yeah, my plan was to go to CMH, but we'll get down there. We got to keep an eye on that Spirit A321 that's down there. Hopefully we'll catch it when it leaves. Like to see it one more time, you know. Some we saw, you know, seen a bunch of them up here over the years. Flew on them a couple of times. But when you know it's your last one, you still want to go catch that. I think there's 2 on the ground at Pittsburgh. And probably at least that many on the ground in Detroit. So we're going to do our best to try to catch them. At least catch one of them. The banana livery went to Detroit. I'd really like to catch that one when it leaves, but we'll see how things go. I don't have any contacts at DTW though. I have a few here and a few at CMH, but I don't have anyone at Detroit. Maybe someday. I think the Airliner Collector Show, it's like a smaller version of Airliners International. I think that's at DTW or one of the hotels up there on the 9th. I have to go back and look. So may go up for that. It is Mother's Day weekend, so that might make things a little tough, but we might try to go up there for that if we can. Don't need anything, but it would give me an excuse to go up. And if we do, maybe we'll live stream up there. It's opening weekend for Cedar Point as well. Mad I missed the Montreal inaugural here and at Columbus with everything going on over the last few days. I completely forgot about it. I would have come up here for that. We have a Velo starting service here in a few weeks to, I believe it's New Haven and Concord, North Carolina. Home of Charlotte Motor Speedway out down in that part of North Carolina. Velo adding some frequencies with the departure of Spirit. Spirit left here, I think it was on the 13th was the last day. We had Spirit here in Cleveland. And with Spirit gone, United and JetBlue both announced flights to Fort Lauderdale. Frontier's added back, I think it's Houston, Dallas, and Austin, Texas, I believe, was a new one that Frontier added. Southwest finally added Dallas Love all later on this year. So it'd be good to see that increase in service for sure. Got a BA 777 flying over us. Air Canada Jazz inbound from Montreal. That's our next inbound flight. The British Airways 777 is heading to CBG. Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky International Airport. That might be a good live stream for you guys. Go down to CBG sometime. It's been a little bit since I've been down there. Small Meanie says stream looking good. Well, glad to hear it. We got off to a rough start. Between the thunderstorm that looked like it was going to miss us and then clipped us anyways, and Bluetooth not working, we got off to a rough start, but hopefully things are going better now. Our Challenger that came in is going to taxi over to customs, or over to the FBO Atlantic. I apologize. Had a few different business jets here tonight. I wonder if there's something going on. We're also going to have a World Cup preview match later on. We'll have Egypt versus Brazil. Hopefully that'll bring in some cool aircraft. It'll definitely bring in some private jets, you have to figure. Hopefully it brings in a couple of wide bodies. It'd be cool if that Egyptian 747 down in Dayton, if they brought it up here, but I don't think that'll happen. Got another little thunderstorm to our south. It's definitely gonna miss us. And a few off to our north. Actually, I think these guys may be getting ready to head out, so they must have just come in for customs. Before heading out. Still watching that weather in Detroit and Chicago as well. Chicago, if anything diverse, have to figure it'd probably go to Indianapolis, although we do get stuff from there occasionally. Detroit, pretty good chance it comes here.
What time's going to know here? Is it because of the weather, or do you know the reason why?
So our Challenger quick pit stop came in for customs and they're on their way out. as the Challenger heads out, welcome Air Canada Jazz Montreal flight. Just started a couple of days ago. First time we've had direct service to Montreal in a long time. That sounds like an eagle. I don't see anything, but it almost sounded like an eagle somewhere. We do have them up here. United Express 3527 on final approach, inbound from Washington Dulles. And then American Eagle 5133 out of Philadelphia. And then our next special livery, 8155, United Airlines 737-800 out of Tampa. We're in a Star Alliance livery. Should represent our next couple of inbound flights. There's a seagull right behind me hovering in the wind. I'll try. Go that way. I tried. I was trying to figure out where it was going to go. And the past when I pulled this back is when the HDMI cable lets go, so I didn't want to do that this time. But seagull fighting the wind. The wind has definitely picked up. We got some showers to our north, some showers to our south. But we are right here in the window where it's actually pretty nice right now, other than the fact that it is windy. Paying attention. I didn't even realize there was a business jet out there. I apologize for that. Citation almost sounds like a fighter jet. Here's our Jazz E175. They're holding short of 24 right because of our inbound traffic. We're gonna go back over here though, try to get the camera and tripod out of the wind a little bit. United Express E-Jet. We got they got the sun going through a cloud right now, or a cloud covering the sun. It's not a big cloud, so it's kind of interesting looking over the airport and seeing what part of it is in the sun and what part of it is in the shade. I kind of enjoyed the shade there for a couple of minutes, made it a little bit easier to see. Not sure where we are as far as our master plan. That was supposed to have started in April, at least according to all the stuff the airport put out last year. I've not seen anything yet other than the tunnel that goes under the road. They got that finished, but in the central checkpoint right now, they're doing some work on that. So the central security checkpoint in the terminal is closed. But other than that, I have not really seen or heard anything. I know that the first step is going to be to build the parking lot around where Concourse D is, but haven't heard of much. So we'll have to keep an eye on that to see when everything gets underway for the new airport terminal that's coming. It should open in 2032. Also pictures from Columbus. They're making some pretty good progress down there. That airport, their new airport should open in 2029. They're going to go 5133 inbound from Philly, our next inbound flight, turning our on final about a minute out. We don't have UPS or FedEx arrivals tonight. We do have departures around 9:30 or so. Should see them again tomorrow night. TRJ's coming in kind of low. CRJ out of Philly. Of course, he didn't come in as low as that United 767 in Newark did yesterday. Oh my goodness, if you haven't seen the video from the truck. Oh my goodness, it came in, it was a windy day in Newark, so they're coming in on, I think it was runway 29, which brings them right over the interstate. If you didn't see the video or didn't see the news, definitely check it out. It clipped the light pole on the highway as it came in, and it either clipped a semi truck or the jet blast clipped the semi truck. One of the two. But the video is nuts. Like, it looks like from the dash cam video, it's hard to believe that driver even survived that. Does sound like he did, which I'm really glad to hear that. But yeah, I'm not sure if there's a photo out there that almost makes it look like the landing gear might have clipped the top of the truck. But if it did, it certainly was close. But I don't know if the jet actually hit the truck or if it hit, it was just like the jet blast coming off the engines or maybe the wake, or if he hit the pole that came down. But man, that video is nuts. Glad to hear that driver's okay. I think only a couple of more feet. If they were just 10 feet lower, if they were low enough to clip the truck, just got to think, man, just a few more feet. And we're talking about a potentially an awful accident out at Newark yesterday. But fortunately, It sounds like everyone's okay. The crew landed the aircraft safely. But yeah, that video is nuts. If you haven't seen that video, there's video of the plane landing, which you can kind of see. I saw a photograph as well, so I'm assuming that photograph is probably a still shot from the video. So we'll have to see if there's a video of that. But that dash cam footage from that truck, I'm glad that guy's alive. United Flight 8155, it's a special livery inbound from Tampa, the Star Alliance livery. Will be followed by Republic 5775 out of LaGuardia, a Delta Connection flight. Got Shelton here, says good evening. Anyone see the Liberty 1 livery? Also the MD-11Fs are about to hit the sky again. Surprised about I didn't think the MD-11s would ever fly again. So I'm surprised that, I was really surprised to see the Orbis DC-10 is flying. I saw that they blew a tire on landing, but glad to see that flying again with the wait for FedEx. So it does sound like they may actually fly in May, as they've been saying. I haven't yet seen Liberty 1 or the Independence 1, but hopefully we see them at some point. I think both of them have been in Pittsburgh so far. I know Independence 1 has been there because it was there this morning, and I think it was there a couple of days ago as well. Actually, I know it was there a couple of days ago because I thought about driving out. I think it was Saturday morning. And I saw it was there again this morning, but couldn't get out there with work, but hopefully we'll see it at some point. Someone's gonna get the money shot of Liberty 1 and Freedom 1 together, the twins. Got a Slate Aviation CRJ 200 inbound. As well as American Eagle 5529 is taxiing out for departure as CRJ will be heading to Charlotte. We grabbed the CRJ here, but I want to make sure we don't miss the Star Alliance livery when that comes in. So that's some really nice lighting on that. Surprised there's not more photographers here actually with the lighting we have tonight. It was really pretty with that rainbow we had about an hour or so ago when we were doing a silent stream for some reason. Had a really pretty double rainbow at the... I'll edit everything and re-upload it in case you missed everything. And that re-upload will include the sound. A really pretty rainbow we had today. United Star Alliance inbound from Tampa. It's definitely windy. I have a fluid head tripod. I have it on the stiffest panning setting today because of the wind, but even that, you're kind of still fighting it a little bit. Once those FedEx MD-11s start flying, we might have to make a trip out to see one. I know that there are 2 of them in Columbus at Rickenbacker for Western Global. We'll have to wait and see if they'll ever fly again. Smog Media said I was live streaming at CMH over the weekend and a fallen soldier, caught a fallen soldier returning home. Very powerful moment. Yeah, it is. The 121st and 180, I did some really nice things with the fallen crew from the KC 135. I mean, it was tempting to go down and try to get some footage of the flyovers, but it just didn't feel like the right thing to do for me, so I didn't go down there to do it. I figure they'll do something after the air show, so if they do, we'll catch it then. But they did some really nice flyovers to honor the fallen crew. Even the Viper demo was a part of it. FEMA brought the YF-16 livery Viper demo aircraft to do one of the flyovers. That is a solemn thing. I've caught it a couple of times over the years, and it's something that definitely makes you stop when you see a limo pulling up to an aircraft and the casket getting offloaded. I feel like every time I've seen it, it's been American. I know other airlines do it, but I feel like every time I've caught it, it's been American Airlines. They all do a great job with that. I know Southwest handles the honor flights out at CMH. And they take veterans, I think they all go to DC if I remember right. That's a really cool organization, Honor Flight Columbus, that helps take care of veterans and remember the fallen veterans in the local communities. They had a stand at Denison at the Transportation Festival a couple of weeks ago and kind of talked to those guys for a little bit. They got a really cool stuff that they do just to try to honor those who serve. Here in Cleveland, United does the North Pole flight, the Polar Express flight, and they'll take kids on a short flight. They'll take off and kind of go around the lake. I know Cedar Point usually lights the park up for that, so they'll fly over the park. And lots of cool things that the airlines will do to spread goodwill. Delta connection at 5775, E175 inbound from LaGuardia. Whoa, sorry about that. And then we have a Slate Aviation CRJ 200, flight 767 out of Macon, Georgia. Delta 2750 inbound from Atlanta, about 10 minutes out. Behind that, we have a Learjet inbound. There is weather moving into the Detroit area. Some strong thunderstorms south of O'Hare. I don't think that's going to cause any issues, but we'll see if that stuff moving into Detroit might cause some stuff to circle. Here, all of our showers are going over the lake to the north of us, so I think we're going to be good to go. Yeah. What was that? I just do it for fun. Actually, there's a pretty good cell about to hit O'Hare, so hey, you never know. Yeah, it's nice to get out and get some sun. Beautiful day for it. Starlight is pulling into its gate. United has sent us a few A321neos over the last few weeks, which is not a normal aircraft for us. So they've been substituting their 737s or A320s. Haven't got the 100th anniversary livery. Hopefully we'll get that one at some point. We have got Americans. Americans actually was here this afternoon. Almost went to Columbus today, actually, speaking of CMH. I was gonna go down. I want to try to get some video or photos of the Spirit A321neo that's down there that came in just before the airline shut down on Friday night, early Saturday morning. So I want to try to get some video of that. And I see the World Cup livery, which has been scheduled here several times, and it changes every time he's down there tonight. But we'll keep an eye on that A321 and try to catch it for you when it leaves. Did a lot of reading about Spirit. So I'm kind of an aviation history nerd. So I like to, in my free time, I'll read up a lot on airline history or military aviation history or space history or whatever. It's kind of one of my, something I've liked ever since I was a little kid, is just aviation, but also the history and the people behind it and whatnot. I didn't really know that much about Spirit. I've flown them a few times, and of course we used to see them quite a bit up here. They at least have several flights up here a day. But with them shutting down, I kind of started to do a little bit more research into them. They realized how long they've been around. So it started off as a trucking company out of the Detroit area, and then expanded. The founder started a small airline called Charter One Air back in 1983, I believe it was, doing those leisure flights, and I think there was a Convair, the prop liners. And then started doing the leisure flights with jets to places like Atlantic City, Florida, Las Vegas, places that families would want to go on vacation or just wanted to see. Maybe people who didn't have a ton of money, or families that are a little bit more cash strapped, are able to book those flights. Apparently the name Spirit was a employee vote. The employees came up with that name. And the NK at the end of all of their tail numbers represented Ned's kids. The kids of the founder of Spirit Airlines. Check it out, sir, here. So Ned Holmfeld founded Spirit Airlines. So NK was Ned's kids. That's what that was supposed to mean. Went into the jets with the McDonnell Douglas MD-80 series aircraft. Had a few changes, a few different leaders over the years. Expanded into becoming a no-frills ultra budget carrier, which got you a cheap airline ticket, cheap flight, but you had to pay for everything else. Here's the Slate CRJ. So the idea was basically, we'll fly you there for cheap, you just have to pay for everything else. The Spirit through the 90s and 2000s and 2010s expanded to be the largest ultra low-cost carrier in the country. I consider to be the first true ultra low-cost carrier, kind of in the same vein as like a Ryanair. Of course, every time I flew Spirit, the crews always let you know that, hey, you're flying Spirit. If you wanted something nicer, you fly something else. But you know, they were great for a day trip. I flew them several times. If I was going to do a spotting trip or just a cheap day trip somewhere, I flew them several times, mostly to Florida. Always kind of appreciated them a little bit more in Frontier. I thought the airplane's a little bit more comfortable. And they had Wi-Fi, which was nice. Just having the option to have Wi-Fi so you could stay in contact with family or you know, watch a movie or whatever. But they've been around for a long time. It's a shame. Shame what happened. You know, 40-plus-year-old airline, and a lot of people is gone, and a lot of people lost their jobs. Hopefully, everyone who lost their job is able to find new employment options as soon as possible. You know, that is not fun. Being laid off is not fun. But of course, a lot of factors came into play. You got the failed mergers, of course, but they had some major disruptions with the Pratt & Whitney engines on their A320neo fleet. Lots of competition, especially when the majors started their basic economy fares, which give you a cheap ticket. You still had to pay for everything else like you would on Spirit or Frontier, but you were getting the more reliable service, the nicer gates, nicer airports, and access to the majors' full networks, which was always nice. So it made it difficult to compete. They had some staffing issues, of course. They had the systematic issues that caused the groundings. I remember there was that one weekend where they canceled a ton of flights. There's the pandemic in there, so. But it's a shame. They'll definitely be missed. There's Delta out of Atlanta. Always enjoyed seeing the yellow banana buses up here all the time. But you know, as easy as it is to clown on airlines like Spirit, and Spirit was absolutely a meme. But you know, the budget carriers like that, they really opened up air travel for the masses. A lot of people can't afford or are not able to afford the higher fares that some of the other airlines would charge, especially pre-deregulation. So having airlines like that kind of open up air travel to the masses, open up vacations to the masses. So those things are nice. I read where when Spirit entered a market, it dropped. Usually fares would drop by like 17%. So be interesting to see what happens in the future. Got to think it's a win for airlines like Frontier, JetBlue, Breeze, Allegiant. A little less competition on those markets for them. And we've already seen a few of them jumping in, adding flights. Heading out, Southwest pushing back. Yeah, let me know down below what memories you have, good or bad. about Spirit Airlines. And what do you think about them shutting down over the weekend?
60 clear approach, clear out for 261 visual approach runway 24 County. And begin your approach.
Got a Learjet inbound. The Falcon off to our west. So 6,200 feet. I'm assuming it's going to go to Detroit. But hey, maybe it'll come in here. It'd be cool to see that. Frontier 4118 out of Myrtle Beach, about 20 minutes out. Southwest flight 1336, that 737 MAX will be heading to Denver. Learjet landing on 24 left. Wind is starting to pick up again with these cells off to our north. Storms are getting closer to DTW. So let's see what might be coming in up there. Nothing too crazy, it looks like. But definitely they're sending aircraft more over central Ohio back up. So something to keep an eye on over the next half hour or so as that weather moves closer to Detroit. Chicago's getting some weather as well. Where's Southwest going? Jazz 736 inbound from Toronto. Kind of a neat shot over there. You could get a picture of two Air Canada E175s together. We had the Montreal flight here a little bit ago. Whenever Southwest is waiting for their clearance over to Denver. So far everything, there's a few aircraft starting to hold for O'Hare. I don't know if it'll lead to anything. But there is some pretty big weather heading over into that area. Detroit gonna get some weather as well, so hey, you never know. Frontier 4118 inbound from Myrtle Beach, about 10 minutes out. We have Southwest 3731 out of Las Vegas. A FlexJet Praetor looks like it's heading our way. A Falcon 2000 EX off to our north. That actually, I think, is coming in. So we might have a mini tri-jet here in a little bit. Take a look at that airplane, see if we can find out anything about it. Looks like it's owned by Clay Lacey and might have a cool paint scheme. We'll have to wait and see. Well, ADSB got the tail number. It might be this blue one. So we'll keep an eye on it. It's at 2,500 feet to the north of the field. Looks like it's coming into Hopkins, so we'll keep an eye on it. I think it's going to Burke. GPAJ says people express did pay add-ons when it started at 81. Each check bag was $3. Soda 50 cents, beer $1, and snacks between 50 cents and $2. 1981 prices. Oh, to go back. Kind of a popular trend on Instagram right now is this to do a reel where it says, hey, where were you in the 90s? And it shows photos from the 90s played over, I believe it's the song Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls. And I saw someone did one for gas prices and you see like 89 cents, 94 cents, stuff like that. It's like, man, I just have a little pickup. It was almost $80 to fill it up today. And that ultimately was what killed Spirit. Spirit sent a letter out to their employees. Let them know they no longer had a job. And I saw it was shared on Reddit. And the biggest reason that Spirit said they shut down was because they couldn't handle the rising oil prices. Which, if it's, you gotta think what they're paying for fuel. See multiple airlines talk about raising prices and cutting flights to deal with the oil prices going up, fuel prices going up. And I know for the consumer, definitely been making tough choices about how much we drive. As long as gas prices stay where they're at. And I wasn't alive for it, but it reminds me a little bit when you read about the stuff that went on in the 70s with the oil crisis. And gas stations not having enough fuel and prices skyrocketing there. And you read about airlines shutting down, trucking companies shutting down. Fortunately, I wouldn't be surprised if things stay where they're at if we see more of that going throughout the summer and the later months of the year. I work in transportation logistics and kind of definitely have seen a little bit of that crunch where transportation prices are going up, carriers are reducing capacity or just outright shutting down. And then a lot of customers, if they pick up product from manufacturers, will get CPU discounts and that sort of thing built into their freight charges, just so since they're picking it up, they get it. Not only do they not have to pay the freight charge, but sometimes they'll get like built-in discounts on product when they pick it up. I've definitely seen some challenges in that market as customers weigh in the benefits they get from the freight charges with the rising fuel prices. So things stay where they are, it could definitely get rough as businesses and the general population make tough decisions about where they go and how much they go, what they drive, whether they're going to fly or not. But hopefully it's just a temporary thing. It doesn't seem like it's going to be, though. I wonder too about the air show season. As we get farther and farther into the season, if we start seeing more cuts. The Navy already has a very weak demo team schedule this year. They said due to budgets. But I wonder if we start seeing more cuts from air shows as the year goes on with the higher fuel prices or fuel shortages, if the military starts to say, hey, maybe we don't need to do all these shows and pay for the fuel. Civilian performers, I feel like, will probably still show up, but hope it doesn't get to that point. And hopefully no more airlines shut down. I wouldn't be surprised long term, if fuel prices stay high long term, we'll definitely see more mergers, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see more airlines shut down. Hope not. But if history is any teacher, Jazz heading back to Montreal. I thought we'd get both of them together, but this one's going to get out of here. It looks like before the Toronto flight comes. I think the Toronto flight's inbound. Unfortunately, that Falcon is going over to Burke. I just think in my case, though, I just have a little truck. Like, I don't have a full-size truck or even a mid-size truck. I have a small pickup. And about a month ago, it was about $50 to fill it up with fuel, maybe 55 tops. It's $78 today to fill that thing up with gas. And that's from just about empty. It's over $30 to get fuel for my stupid lawnmower. Almost $30 to put fuel in it. And we'll see what happens in the future. Southwest got ahead of Frontier, flight 3731 inbound from Las Vegas. Then we'll have Frontier out of Myrtle Beach. Got a bunch of aircraft holding for O'Hare. Maybe we'll get lucky. Ferret is here. Again, I apologize if I'm butchering your name. I'm sure I am. I'm terrible with names. It says, hello, Fred. I hope you're doing well tonight. Told the story a few times how when I was teaching, there were kids. I was a band director. There were kids the last couple of weeks of school. I finally figured out what their names were. My first year. Even working now, I got a new role at work, just working with a different team on some stuff. And I only knew a couple of them by name, like who they were, and everyone else is like, I've worked there for 4 years. And names have never been my thing. One of many weaknesses in my life, for sure. Got pretty out. We got just some high clouds out in the distance, but definitely got pretty out for what we had starting out about an hour or so ago. Southwest inbound from Las Vegas. Southwest rolling out for the end. Southwest rolling out to the end of 24 right. Air Canada Jazz lining up for departure. This is the new flight, just started a couple of days ago. Direct service up to Montreal for the first time in many, many years. Also started a service down in Columbus and I believe Pittsburgh as well. Nice to see a little bit of expansion from Air Canada. We had their A220s for a couple of weeks last year. I wish they'd bring those back. For the Frontier 4118 inbound from Myrtle Beach on final. Southwest flight to Denver is finally taxiing. I believe that's the first Frontier we've had tonight. Southwest rolling out. They'll be heading over to Denver. It's a 737 MAX 8. Airport ops is shooting off some fireworks, trying to scare the birds away. That Frontier flight that landed, I could smell the rubber. For when it touched down, it definitely came down. They won't be proud of that landing. battling the wind. Very windy up here tonight. I can smell the tire smoke from it. Night at 12:27. It's a 787 Dreamliner. It's not inbound, but the routing it took made me wonder if it was. It's at 37,000 feet going out of San Francisco, though. JetBlue 541 inbound from Boston, about 20 minutes out. Everything's still going in the DTW. Don't think it's going to be enough weather to cause a diversion, but we'll keep an eye on it. JetBlue is our next inbound flight, then a little bit of a gap to Frontier 1055 out of Orlando. 1545 out of Fort Myers. We have United 1808 out of Orlando. Those aircraft are a little over an hour out, so we probably won't have enough daylight to catch those. Southwest 4101 out of Phoenix is about 38 minutes out. And United 1611 inbound from Newark. So unfortunately, a little bit of a gap with our inbound flights. Here in a few minutes. Mr. Coolshade says, found you from that Egypt Air into Dayton. It was pretty spectacular to see from the ramp, even cooler to see it from your point of view. I don't know, I'm jealous. I'd like to see it from the ramp. The angle I had from the garage, I don't go to Dayton that much, so I don't know the best spots. I saw some photos that a couple of people got that were definitely from a better angle than what I was at. But I would like to see that from the ramp. That'd be really cool. From what I hear, it's in for maintenance and should leave in a couple of weeks. At least that's what I heard. So if I find out anything, I'll post it on my Instagram. If anyone else finds out anything, then let me know. That would be awesome. I'd love to see that when it leaves. It's a really, really neat aircraft. Government aircraft like that are probably, those in NASA flights are probably my favorite aircraft to actually catch. Don't see them that much. But I love seeing the government aircraft like that. We get a few up here throughout the year for like Cleveland Clinic visits and stuff like that. So we'll see the Dubai Air Wing quite a bit. Every once in a while we'll get the Saudis or the Qatar Emiri flight and that kind of stuff, but this year we've had the Hungarian president was here, and we had the Panama presidential aircraft here, which it was over here getting maintenance at the Embraer facility. So I was telling someone, like, I've caught at least 5 or 6 government aircraft this year, and none of them have been U.S. government aircraft yet. I haven't seen Air Force One in several years now. We had Air Force Two at Akron Canton last year, but hopefully we'll catch those at some point. I did see where the one that was gifted, quote unquote gifted, from Qatar, that one was supposed to be painted and go into service at some point this summer as a backup Air Force One. So gotta think we'll catch that one at some point. The Dubai one went to Singapore today, so maybe it'll make its way over at some point. We haven't. Last time that was here was, I think, in February. Was when we had that, so hopefully we'll see that again soon. Usually they come in a few times a year. Dayton is getting a diversion. What's up with that? United Express 4390. It's a CRJ diverting in from Chicago. And it does look like that is going to Dayton. There's a bunch of stuff holding, including Aer Lingus, a bunch of United flights holding. Looks like stuff's actually starting to go back in though. But there are a few aircraft holding in Michigan that might go somewhere. Don't think we'll get anything though. Although I'd love that Lufthansa or the lot special livery that's going in. It looks like the weather's moving out of Chicago, so I don't think we'll see that. There's a little cell going into Detroit, but I don't see anything diverting for Detroit either. Just have not gotten lucky with diversions so far this year. Which is weird. There's been a lot of weather this year, but it seems like when they've gone through, it's gone in too late in the afternoon, and there just hasn't been much out there to divert. So. But hopefully we get something at some point. Last year we had Turkish, we had SAS. Both when I was out of town. I just got to go out of town and then we'll get something cool. But when I was out of town, we had Turkish and SAS divert. We had two Lufthansa A340s divert in like a week, including the Star Alliance livery, which was really neat. We made a Delta A350, I think, diverted in. But so far, not much yet for this year. XC7049 asking, what instrument do you play? I'm a trumpet player. I was a band director. I got my bachelor's and master's in music education because I'm a weirdo like that. I had a lot of great times and great memories and met a lot of great people doing it. Still play a little bit, but I'm a trumpet player. I like brass. I play the brass, mostly brass, so whether it's tuba or baritone, trombone, French horn, I can kind of pretty comfortable in all that. Woodwinds, not so much. Percussion, I'm okay with, I guess. It's been a while since I've done a lot of it. I haven't taught now in, 6 years, I guess it's been, so. You miss it sometimes, but it's great to play. I think everyone should learn a musical instrument. I can play a little bit of guitar as well, but I think everyone should learn a musical instrument. Whether you do band or choir or just do it for fun. I think everyone should. It's a great gift. I'm always jealous when if I go out in public and I see someone. There's a lot of malls that have like pianos in them. And when I see people that can sit down and play, it always makes me jealous. My wife can do it, but I'm always jealous of people who can just sit down and play on a piano or pick up a guitar and just, I don't know, one of the coolest skills to me. AJ Ryder said the Southwest was flight 1336 going to Denver. 1,201 miles, 2 hours, 58 minutes on that max. We actually do have Aer Lingus Sunday. They came in a little early. They landed around 6 o'clock or so. We should see them depart here in a little bit. They're over on the other side of the concourse, so we can't see them, but we should see that depart before we leave today. It's a cool shade. It says, heck yeah, if you'd like, I can send you the video I got from the ramp. Dude, pardon me and my coworker's French. Yeah, I would love to see the video. I don't mind a little bit of French. Honestly, in my head, I was saying the same thing too. That was really cool. Not impressed says, happy Monday, nice night to be spotting in Cleveland. Never liked the Star Alliance livery. Yeah, it's okay. I've seen it on a few different airlines. It's okay. I kind of feel that way about all the Alliance liveries. I guess the One World I kind of like the One World because it still allows a little bit of the airlines, the livery behind it, especially Alaska's. I think Alaska's looks really nice. I don't care much for the SkyTeam livery either. But, I mean, they're still cool to see the Alliance liveries. I remember when that one was on a 700. I'm actually surprised that United hasn't put that on a Dreamliner yet. They have it on everything else. 37, 57, 67, 777. They don't have it on the Dreamliner yet. I'm a little surprised. We've seen the 777 here a couple of times. It diverted in a couple of years ago, and the Browns use it as a charter flight a couple of times. We've seen that one here. Seen the 767, I think, in Houston, and then haven't seen the 75 yet though. There's been at least 2 or 3 times it was in a holding pattern where it looked like it might divert, and then it didn't end up coming in. But I think the 75 is the only one I haven't seen. We're in the middle of a slow period here now, a little bit of a break between arrivals and departures. If you're interested in spotting up here, Sundays can be on the busier side, and I feel like Tuesdays through Fridays seem to be a little better. And then Saturdays and Mondays, I feel like in the evening can be kind of slow. Plus, we don't have the heavies tonight. But still was a nice night to come out. Why I wanted to come out tonight. I thought about going to Columbus, but I'm gonna try to get down there this week. I want to catch the Spirit A321 that's down there. They started ferrying them out today, out to Goodyear and a couple of the other airports out in the desert where they'll go in desert storage. But there's one in Columbus, and there's a couple in Pittsburgh, and a couple in Detroit. So I'd like to see one of them, at least one of them, before it leaves. The Banana is up in Detroit. Oh no, the Banana left. It went to LaGuardia just before they shut down. So I almost went up there to catch that when it came in, but it came in close to dark. So I just didn't make the drive up there, but I'd like to see one of the Spirit A320 or A321s before they leave. JetBlue 541 turning final. They're about to pass over downtown. A220 inbound from Boston. Here on the field, we have American Eagle Flight 5063. It's a CRJ that's heading to Philadelphia. Looks like they put him in the penalty box. Been sitting over there for a little while now. We have United Express 3577 should be pushing back for its flight to Dulles. Aer Lingus 9 Lima Tango should be leaving here in a little bit for the flight back to Dublin. American 1078 should be heading to Chicago as well. Wonder with the delays, how long that might be delayed getting out of here. And then Delta Connection 5775 get ready to push back for the flight to LaGuardia. And Frontier 3092. Not many Frontier flights tonight. We'll be heading to LaGuardia. So we may stream in Columbus, or we may just go down. We'll kind of have to wait and see what we'll find. If we find out when that Spirit's going to leave, I'm going to try to get down there to see it. Depends with work and everything, but. These guys are finally out of the penalty box. Heading to Philly with the CRJ for PSA Airlines. And if anyone finds out when that Egypt 747 leaves, let me know. I would love to try to make the drive down there to catch that when it leaves. Even if it means risking my life driving through Columbus again. I don't know what they're doing on 71 and 270 where that interchange is, but oh my goodness. Alaska 216 called clearance for their flight back to Seattle. And again, up here we'll have Egypt and Brazil in a World Cup preview in June. Hopefully that'll bring in some pretty neat aircraft. Sorry about that. American Eagle on their way out. Delta Connection holding short. A lot of E-Jets up here tonight. Gusting to 2.5. Nice weather, the bikes show up. Waiting on JetBlue. They are on short final, just a couple of seconds out. A220 out of Boston. Old livery on the JetBlue. Kind of unusual. We typically only see the new liveries now, so pretty cool to see an old livery. Still waiting on the new blueprint to go into service. Glad to see they brought that back on the A220. Looking forward to seeing that. Guardians are playing the Kansas City Royals in Kansas right now. Scoreless. Scoreless in that game. We'll keep an eye on it. Pittsburgh getting a diversion. American 215. It is a 321 going to Chicago out of Cancun. So still a few diversions out there. Actually, a number is still holding over Indiana. Take a look, just see if there's anything out there. Got a few aircraft actually heading our way. It's like United 1484, Delta 2879, American 2737. Not saying they're actually going to come in. They are kind of heading over this way. Louisville is getting a 757-300 for United diverting in. Definitely a lot of stuff holding over kind of southern Ohio and parts of Kentucky.
American 1078.
Everything to the north looks like that was holding in Michigan. Looks like it's largely starting to release their hold going in. I see a bunch of flights actually going into O'Hare, so we'll keep an eye on some of the stuff to the south, and maybe we'll get something. Our next inbound flight looks like Southwest 4101 inbound from Phoenix. About 20 minutes out for that, and United 1611 out of Newark, and Frontier 1055 out of Orlando. United Express 3577 was the E-Jet that just taxied through while we were reading off some flights. They're heading to Dulles, and then in the background I see Aer Lingus is taxiing out for their flight to Dublin. A321neo tonight. There's Aer Lingus on the screen for you. So we'll keep an eye on those flights that are diverting and see if maybe, or holding to see if maybe something comes in. Looks like Louisville is getting the surprise of the night, at least from what I could see with the flying pencil, the United 757-300. But imagine their group chat is going crazy. United Express is clear to take off. And everything is just told to line up and wait. United Express heading out to Washington Dulles International. Shamrock 9 Lima Tango on their way to Dublin. And Aer Lingus is on their way over to Ireland. As we lose Shamrock behind the trees, we have Alaska 216 taxiing out. They're heading back to Seattle. With the 737 MAX 9 tonight.
Contact Cleveland Center 120, correction, 120.6, good night.
Still flight I need to take at some point. They're having the Airliner Aviation Expo in Seattle this year. It's definitely tempting to go out there for that and do one of the tours. We got with the air shows and everything going on this year. Kind of got to be careful because I still want to go to the air shows that are going on, but it would be tempting to go to that. I heard next year that show will be at DFW. So we may have to take that trip again. We went to Airliners International down there a couple of years ago. So maybe next year I'll go back to DFW for that trip. If I do, this time I'll actually get a rental car and go over to Founders Plaza and spot. And then the other show, Airliners International, is in Denver this year. Alaska 216 cleared for the flight to Seattle. Alaska on their way out. Got some OS vehicles driving around back there. They're redoing the perimeter fence that goes around the airport. So if you go over to the other side, you can see where they've replaced the fence. Gotta wonder how much that is setting them back. That can't be a cheap project. But over here, I can see this green tubing or whatever that is down there. And that going all the way around. Actually, I think that's the new fence. So that's going all the way around the airport. Got the connection CRJ, got the lights on. I bet there was a vendor that was thrilled when they got an order for, I don't even know how many miles of fencing that would be. Go ahead and go back to the comments. We got John here. I'm at 2. It looks like from France. Hope you're doing well tonight. Mr. Cool says, does not seem to be allowing me to send videos through Instagram. I'll have to check that because I should be able to get them. Robert Morris says, hi, Nick, my daughter around 9 is building a Lego Cleveland. That'd be cool. Cleveland was having congestion issues around that time. Rush hour is what I'm thinking. Oh, maybe I read that wrong. But, yeah, definitely probably having some congestion up here. Not impressed, asking how many gates did Spirit have? Was it 2? I wonder who'll pick them up. 2 sounds right. I think they had 2 or 3. They were over on the Alpha Concourse. I think Frontiers actually picked up most of them, if not all of them now. When they left on their last flight just a couple of weeks ago here, they left on April 13th was their last flight out of Cleveland. They only had the 1 gate at that point. So I'm not sure if anyone's picked it up yet, but I think it was Alpha 7, either A5 or A7. But they had a couple of gates before. I think it was probably 2 or 3.
37 to 16 information, Yankee, ready taxi. I think it was 37, 16.
Not impressed, says, or Ferris says, I'm sure Velo will pick one up when they start next month. Yeah, I wonder which gate they'll go to. That'll be interesting. That's probably a good guess, that they'll probably take one of the gates over on the Alpha side. I feel like that's where they send the budget airlines anyways. Probably, it's definitely the least nice concourse here at Cleveland. Not that any of them are particularly nice, but but yeah, that's probably where they'll go, somewhere over there. Karen says, just heard that American Eagle fly over my house. I'm north of Paritas. Very cool. Looks like Mr. Cool got that video sent over to you. We have to check that out. Shelton says the Cavs are moving on in the playoffs. One of my co-workers was about ready. I thought he was never going to come out of his house again when they blew that game against Toronto on that last second shot. Was it game 6, I think it was? I didn't think he was coming out of his house ever again. Seagull flies about like I do when I'm trying to fly RC airplanes. But hopefully the Cavs can take care of business against the Raptors. Your blocks is here. Think the Guards have a chance at the World Series this year? I'll be honest, I'm not sure they're even going to make the playoffs. All the AL Central teams are behind the NL Central teams, which I think is hilarious. At least they were, I think, yesterday or the day before, where all the National League teams had a better record than the entire AL Central. I don't know. I think it'll be hard to beat the Dodgers. I think the Tigers eventually run away with the AL Central. But hey, you never know. That's why they play the games, right? We'd love to see it happen. Shelton says Southwest is going to start an Alaska program. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that goes for him. That's another bucket list trip I'd love to do someday. Go up to Anchorage. I hear it's absolutely beautiful up there, and of course go up and see all the really cool cargo aircraft that go out of that airport. Guess we can go visit Jade as well. She used to be a Cleveland spotter, moved up to Anchorage. Southwest 4101 for Phoenix on final. Coming up to my left, just got a parking ticket, or a driving award, as my dad used to call it. So he got pulled over for speeding or something. That's no fun. Been there, done that. Left field has a brand new observation deck. I wish they had that when I was there a few years ago. That would be cool to see. Obviously, if you like Southwest, that would be the airport to go to. I remember right the other day they had Independence 1, Freedom 1, and Liberty 1 there. I think they all went there together. But that would be cool to go. If you like Southwest, that would definitely be the airport to go to. Unfortunately, though, it's like most hub airports when you go to, it's pretty much dominated by the one airline. I know they have more, but it's pretty much dominated by the one airline. And that does end up kind of being the problem when you go to airports like Southwest here. Any of the major hubs, you know, after a while, there's only so many United, Delta, or American aircraft you can watch. That is the one downside to DTW, is not that it's a Delta hub, but it gets so many. It's like CRJ heaven up there. So that is the one problem up there. I wish Detroit would build an observation deck. And their parking garage is really good for the east side runways, but they depart most of the heavies on the west side runways. You really can't see them very well over there. Like Delta's pushing back for Atlanta. So that would be the cool, that'd be a good airport to build an observation. I'm glad to see airports are putting them in. I did hear where Nashville's closing theirs, but it's cool to see more airports are kind of jumping on board with it. And the one at Love looks really nice. Gavin says, I didn't know you liked trains. When I was a kid, I did. Now, I mean, I'm not like a huge railroad person. There's just been some really cool stuff that's gone on here in the last couple of years. So anything that's kind of cool or historic, I like to try to catch. Definitely need to find a way to catch Union Pacific's Big Boy when that runs through town next month. That will be amazing to see in person. Gonna be a huge treat for everyone who doesn't live on the West Coast to see that run through as it goes through Indiana, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Also, do you see the U.S. military Northrop fly over at like 20,000 feet a few minutes ago? No, I missed that. That would have been cool to see. Edmonton Air Force Base up in Anchorage might get extremely lucky and catch a Raptor or a B-2. My luck with B-2s, I could go to Whiteman and I still wouldn't see one. Hoping to catch one this year, though, at one of the shows. Miami, for sure, will have them. I probably won't get to that one, but still hope to catch a B2 this year. I've had zero luck with them this year, and we've had several reports of them flying over. I know Cincinnati and Dayton have seen them a few times, coming back from Iran. But I have not gotten lucky yet. Your block says, I heard Cleveland had an observation deck in the 90s. Yeah, it sure did. It was up on the roof. Check out aviationcle.com if you're interested in a lot of that. Got a United 737 diverting to Cincinnati. I know Paul has some really great stuff at his website about the history of the airport, and you can see some of the stuff in the observation deck. We got a ARF heading out. So we might have an inbound emergency aircraft. See, ARF heading out and ops heading out, so they might have an emergency coming in. But all that shut down after 9/11. Waiting to see if we see.
R14, I just want to verify R20, hold short, runway 24 left.
Oh, we got 3 of them heading out. So I think we have
United 287 approaching spot 300 tow for reposition to Delta Concord.
United Maintenance 287, Cleveland ground proceeds requested via Juliet.
Via Juliet, United 287.
And R16 and R14, R20, I have your transponders now, thank you.
Tower's asking for the transponders for ARF as they head out.
ARF20, monitor tower 124.5, I'll have more information for you.
So we have an inbound, we must have an inbound emergency. They're told to hold short of 24 left with the Delta CRJ. Let me check flight radar 24. We'll see what it might be. Our next inbound flight is United. Our next inbound flight is United 1611, 737 out of Newark. That's our next inbound flight. We have Frontier 1055 out of Orlando. Don't see anything else yet.
Company cross runway 24 left at November, proceed to field partner.
So I apologize, I didn't catch the Delta connection departure, but...
I got 1611 Iowa, 24 right. Shows 427, contact departure, good night. Roger, Sky 4027, good night. Yeah, 1611, Cleveland Tower, wind 22013, goes 20, runway 24 right, Cleveland. 327, Cleveland departure, radar contact, climb and maintain 14,000. Maintain 14,000, Skyline 4027.
So United is the next inbound flight. I don't know if it's the emergency.
Hey, R20 company, roger, hold short, runway 24 right. Eagle 1, car 8, proceed west side quadrant. Proceed west side quadrant, Eagle 1.
It might actually have.
One, the aircraft's at least 10 minutes out. As far as we know, as of now, landing 24 right. We'll provide you information on the landing runway that becomes available. One, copy.
Another one with the lights on. So it's 10 minutes out. So it's not the United 737.
Got the ground stuff canceled. You push back to 6? You didn't know that call.
So it's not the 737. It might be the E175.
Tower 124.5, Eagle 1. I'm at Delta 1350. We're at spot 6 for a taxi with.
Could be Jazz as well. Could be Frontier.
Cleveland ground, runway 24 left, taxi Juliet 5 Lima. Juliet 5 Lima for taxi for 24 left for Delta 1350. Skywest 4827, just got a call from Detroit. They want us to see if we need some airborne holding for traffic. I'm going to give you a large box pattern here until they give us a call back, so just expect further clearance here shortly. We'll expect this, guys, 4027, thanks.
Amtrak sleeper car is the way to travel. Yeah, the time took 31 hours from Harrisburg to Florida. I'm not sure how I would do about that. I like to get there as soon as I can.
Tower 124.5 every day.
Trying to figure out what it might be. But that would be a beautiful way to see the country for sure. Akron got pretty lucky, got the 9/10 flyover. I think going to Akron Canton and do touch and goes, you almost never see them come up here.
Romeo Charlie. Next 6 is going to be Ron.
We're going to pull back and grab the United 737. It's on final from Newark. This is not the emergency aircraft. They said it's about 10 minutes out. United rolling out. I'm sure that's not a great look for the passengers. Looking out the window, seeing all the ARC vehicles staging. Again, it's not for them. Still trying to figure out what it's for. Delta, I believe it's 1350 or 2750. Heading to Atlanta, 1350. They told the CRJ that's heading to Detroit that they're going to put him into a holding pattern going into Detroit due to the weather up there. Delta 1350, 737 on their way to Atlanta.
Runway 24 right.
Guardy just took a 2-0 lead. How about that? Frontier 1055 inbound from Orlando. It's an Airbus A321neo.
Kind of creepy. Do you have a approach type that you would prefer?
It's not them. Up. I found it. It is a Challenger.
1050 unrestricted on the speed, and you can climb all the way up unrestricted 14,000.
So it's a Challenger over the lake. He's at 8,600 feet. And it's squawking
57, one able safe parking.
Squawking 7,700. Hopefully everything is okay. November 357 Victor Juliet.
27, turn left heading 150. Left heading 150, 745.
It's like a Vista jet aircraft.
Reduce speed 210 knots. You're going to be number 2 behind a Challenger, number 1 to the field for them.
So Frontier will be coming in next, and
first time to maintain 7,000.
then I believe the Challenger, then the Air Canada Jazz, if I got that right. Presto says I think it's this Challenger 35 350 private jet that's over the lake. Red on flight radar. Yeah, it's squawking 7,700. Not sure what the emergency is. Hopefully we'll have enough daylight to catch it with this camera. This camera doesn't do so well in low light. But we're gonna do the best we can. They climbed. No, I got the wrong one. He's at 5,800 feet.
Should be in about the next 7 to 8 minutes. Maintain 3,000. 327, turn left heading 030.
Watching, waiting for the inbound emergency here. Hopefully everything is okay on that. Got some aircraft actually holding for Detroit now. Bunch of aircraft actually holding for Detroit, including a Delta 757. See Southwest holding. Looks like Detroit's getting hit by a little bit of weather. But as we wait on the emergency aircraft, we'll grab the Frontier flight out of Myrtle Beach with an A321neo. There's something about 24 left. I wonder if they'll move the emergency aircraft over there. That's the longer runway. Or they might be talking about the next inbound flight going at 24 left. Yeah, they might be sending Jazz over to 24 left. Our next two inbound flights.
47 counted 11 o'clock and 11 miles.
Air Canada Jazz 735 out of Toronto. Should be second behind the inbound emergency aircraft, a Challenger 350.
47, clear visual approach, runway 24, County Tower 118.5.
Squawking 7700 north of the city.
Before we can get you on course. Alright, sounds good.
Trying to find out what the emergency might be. There it says, I'm flying Boston Sunday. Flying to Boston Sunday using Amtrak to take a quick trip to Miami. When I leave Boston the following Sunday, I'm also taking Amtrak back, stopping along the way for 2 days.
You accept direct shirk?
Well, have a great trip. That doesn't sound like a...
Expect direct shirk, thank you.
Doesn't sound like a quick trip to me, taking a train from Boston to... Oh, sorry, to Maine. I know I said Miami. Boston to Maine. That would be a beautiful trip, though. Hope you have a great time on that trip. Meanwhile, if you're just joining us, we're live from Cleveland Hopkins International Airport.
United 523 info. Request push up at Charlie 21, reposition Delta Concourse.
We have a Challenger 350 on an inbound.
Hello, and proceed as requested via Juliet to the Delta Concourse.
On an inbound emergency. Hopefully everything is okay.
United 523 info. Good evening.
Squawking 7700 over the lake. United is towing a couple of their 737s over to the Delta Concourse, the concourse that hasn't been used in a little over 10 years.
357, proceed direct shirk, cross shirk 3000, clear ILS, runway 24 right approach.
It's like one of them that may be getting pushed is the Star Alliance livery. I might have to drive over and try to long expose that if they take that over to Concourse D before I leave tonight. Because I know that aircraft is not scheduled to leave. So there's a Star Alliance livery, so I might drive over when we're done here and see if I can long expose that before we go. We'll have to wait and see. I do have my other camera. Since my original plan was to go to CMH to catch, to try to get some photos of the Spirit A321 that's still down there.
4.5, and they'll be expecting.
Maybe tomorrow or Wednesday we'll go down there for that. But meanwhile, we're here at Hopkins waiting for the inbound emergency to get here. Hopefully everything is okay. They're about to turn over downtown right now at 3,400 feet. And they will be the next inbound flight. Hopefully everything is okay. I had a lot of emergency vehicles over there tonight. We'll do our best with this camera. This camera doesn't do the best in the low light, but we'll do our best to see if it can hang on. So we got the inbound emergency aircraft. We'll have Air Canada Jazz, and after that we'll probably wrap it up for the night to head home. Hopefully everything gets down okay. Aircraft are holding for Detroit, but it looks like they're starting to go back in now.
Down below, runway 27 left, taxi via Juliet, we're at 5 and you are.
But hopefully they get this down okay.
Cross Alamo at about 3,000, clear visual approach, runway 24 left.
They might be moving them to 24 left.
392 Cleveland, rounding up. They do have a lead time of 41 for you. Do you think that'll work for you?
Yeah, that'll work. Okay, 39.
Just 41.
ARF looks like they're still staging for the right side, but I thought I heard left side. Chris is here asking, how am I doing? I'm doing pretty well tonight. Need to get some dinner soon, but you know, I can't complain. Beautiful evening. Can't complain. And I will re-upload this live stream with the sound from the first hour or so when the Bluetooth wasn't working. I apologize for that. Chris asked me, anything crazy happening? Well, we have an inbound emergency, a Challenger squawking 7700. I'm not sure what the nature of the emergency is. He's probably about a minute or so out. So not sure what the emergency is, but hopefully they're able to get down okay. Got Frontier getting ready to push back for their,
Contact tower 124.5, good night.
for their flight to LaGuardia. United Express 5992 taxiing out for their flight to Chicago O'Hare. They actually, I think they might be coming in left side. No, it looks like right side. So our next inbound flight is our emergency. It's a Challenger 350. I believe it's a Vista jet aircraft.
3092, taxi Zulu.
25392, runway 24 left, taxi via Juliet for 60 miles.
Not sure the nature of the emergency, but hopefully everything's okay. He is landing right side, just behind the trees. This is our emergency aircraft inbound. So it looks like everything worked out okay. This is our emergency aircraft. The Vista Jet Challenger rolling out here on runway 24 right. And ARF is heading over to recover the aircraft to check it out. They are getting off the runway, so that's a good sign. They taxied quickly across 24 left for our outbound flight and our next inbound flight, so. I didn't stop and wait for the firefighters though. Couple aircraft holding for departure, a United Express flight that'll be heading to O'Hare. We have Frontier lining up for LaGuardia. Holding short for 24 left for the inbound flight, the Air Canada Jazz E-175 out of Toronto. Now ARP is heading over to meet the aircraft.
Company proceed, you take water, mind again.
Actually, Jazz is going around. We're gonna stick with the with this, but Jazz is actually going around.
Agreed with the approach, climb runway 24 right, flash hold the heading, descend maintain 9,000. Contact departure 128.25. Okay, 5992, moving solid. I just got word now of O'Hare going to a ground stop. If you want to taxi back or please push up there, you can expect to hold. Make your airport a couple minutes on top of it.
Bad news for, we're gonna head over to Atlantic. Bad news for the United Express aircraft. Just told that O'Hare is going to go into a ground stop again.
For the left, and then exit first left, and then go back to.
They're heading over to Atlantic.
So I get this Frontier out behind you.
Not sure.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure what's going on. They normally stop. They didn't stop this time, so
Thank you.
maybe have to go back and find out.
I don't know, I just saw you out here, I was like, well, maybe he knows.
I've been trying to find out, but I missed what it was.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Have a good night.
You too. They got down okay. That's what matters.
That's exactly what matters. What kind of radio you got?
I got a unit in a BC125AT.
Cool. It works pretty well?
That works great for this.
Nice.
That's what I got it for. It doesn't do like police and whatnot, but it works great for this. You too. So United Express looks like they're going to go hold as O'Hare goes back into a ground stop. So they're going to go hold and figure out what they're going to do. The Jazz flight will be coming back in. Frontier 3092 lining up, or should be lining up shortly for LaGuardia. And then we'll have Frontier 3073 out of Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina. But right now we got our emergency aircraft. They taxied over to Atlantic Aviation. I have to go back to find out what the nature of the emergency was.
About an hour. Alright. Thanks for the update.
Go back into the comments here. I see a couple on my phone. I just wait for it to pop up here. So Mike is asking mechanical issues according to Cleveland Police Department at Hopkins. I wonder what kind. If it's like flight control issues or engine issues or hydraulic issues or what was going on. But they got down. That's the most important thing. I had what the flight number was, or the tail number was. But it's not squawking anymore, so I don't see it. Just saying, man, weather must be bad over there by O'Hare and Detroit. Yeah, I definitely see some stuff holding.
35, turn right, heading 140.
Needed that a couple of hours ago when all the heavies are out there. Hopefully no one's getting super bad weather tonight. Everything looks like it's going into Detroit now. And see a little bit holding for O'Hare, but it looks like most of the stuff is heading back over that way now. But the poor United Express crew and passengers, they are going to go over and wait and see if they can get out of here.
25 airport, 3 o'clock, 2 miles.
Thank you. Are you on Eastside County?
Looks like our ARF crew, our airport firefighters, are pulling away from the jet now, so they're canceling the alert. So glad to see everything worked out okay. Have to find out what the nature of the emergency was, what kind of mechanical issues they were having. It looks like they're starting to pull away from that now. So we're gonna go ahead, it's getting dark, starting to lose our light up here. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up for tonight, head on home, get some food, and get ready to go back to work tomorrow. If you missed the beginning of the live stream or you missed the part where it didn't have audio, I will re-upload. Re-upload this for you. I'm recording it, so we'll re-upload it for you with the audio. You guys can see the rainbow and everything that we had earlier. Again, I apologize for the beginning where we had the thunderstorm come through and took the audio offline. So I will re-upload this for you guys so you can see that. And then looking ahead to the rest of the week. Gonna head to Columbus at some point to try to catch the Spirit A321neo that's down there. It came in late Friday night, just an hour and a half or so before Spirit shut down for good. So we're gonna try to go down there to see that before it leaves. There's a couple in Pittsburgh and I think Detroit as well, but we're gonna at least try to go to Columbus to get the one that's down there. Probably do another live stream on either Wednesday night or probably Wednesday night this week, depending on how the weather and everything looks. Maybe from up here, maybe from Columbus. We'll have to wait and see. And then this weekend we'll definitely do something as well. For a Mother's Day weekend, we'll try to get out. Might go to Detroit. I think the airliner collector show, I think, is on Saturday up in Detroit. So might head up there for that. If it is, I'll post it on my Instagram. And then maybe we'll do a stream up in Detroit if we end up going up there. And then not too far away from Egypt and Brazil coming to town for the World Cup preview. And all the air shows that should be starting in June with Columbus and Dayton. And everything else coming in. So looking forward to that. Keep an eye on the 747 down in Dayton as well to see if we can find out when that leaves, and we'll try to catch that for you. But we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. Head home and get some dinner. Hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you really like it. Thank you guys so much for getting us over 50,000 subscribers the other day. Just an incredible number. I can't believe it. Follow me on Instagram and Twitch at Nick Flies Media, especially on Instagram. I post a lot of pictures on there. I posted a couple of pictures from the Egypt 747 that came in. So definitely follow me there. Try to see if we can get the Instagram totals up a little bit. So I might do a giveaway at some point as well. So we'll see how that goes. I still owe Brandon the model, so I got to find him at some point. He works up here at the airport. I just haven't had it on me last time I saw him, so gotta get that to him. Maybe we'll do a ticket giveaway or something for the air show. We'll have to wait and see. But of course, if anything comes in, we'll post it on Instagram as well. So waiting for Dubai or anything else that happens to be coming in. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Stay safe, stay healthy, get outside and enjoy the beautiful weather that we're having the next few days. And we'll catch you next time from Cleveland Hopkins International Airport. Have a great night, everyone.